Look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see some little lines with little circles, and if I tap on that, it will bring a bar up at the bottom of the page. There you see 5 different icons. The first, you will see 2 A's, and if you tap on that, it brings up another part of the bar that has the words size and font. The size section, you'll see a plus and a minus, allows you to change the size of the letters. So if I tap on the plus, I'm going to make these bigger. You can see that I can enlarge the size of the text, making it easier for me to read depending on who I am. Here it's quite large and quite accessible. I'm going to take it back a little bit for our discussion, maybe to about there or there. If I tap on the font, we have 3 fonts. The one which you see, which is a very clean, no serifs, no little squiggly lines, a very clean and easy to read font. There's also a more standard font, as you see here. And then we have what is called the Open Dyslexic. This was designed by a dyslexic reader, and we found many of our students who are dyslexic actually like this particular font. But you're in charge of it. I'm going to put it on the nice clean one for our discussion. Now, next to the letters A, you'll see some crossed arrows. If I tap on that, what you will see jumps up is a bar on the left, a bar on the bottom, and 2 arrows on the right. On the left, if I put my finger on the little arrows and slide down the bar, you can see that what happens is it increases the space between the lines, so I can spread things out, making it a little easier to see. The bottom one, if I slide across the bar, spreads out the words, spreads the letters apart a bit, and spreads the words a little further apart, making it also cleaner and easier to see. And then with the double arrows on the right, if I push that towards the center, it decreases the number of words per line, such that you can almost read vertically as opposed to horizontally. And for many people, that's much easier. I'm going to move it out. What we do know is that about 3 words per line is what works really well for dyslexic adults on their phones. You can play around and find how many words per line really works comfortably for you. Now, if I look down at the bottom bar again, I see the broken lines. If I tap on that, you'll notice some things come up underneath. The first that you see in that darkened oval is the word syllables. If I tap on that, that's going to break words into syllables. It's going to break them down so that you don't have to. It's done for you. Making it easier when you come up against those words that you don't know to figure them out. Now you're going to notice that things look a little bit different than maybe you're being taught in school or in a standard syllabication. Keep in mind that if this confuses you, you can always take it off. That's the beauty of this app. Everything is within your control. But for some, they're going to find this quite helpful. I'm going to slide the text up. So if you look at the first line, last word on the first line, you'll see grumbled. And you notice that the break in the syllable is after the E and before the D. And we did that purposefully because we know that that unsounded D is very confusing for many readers. So this way, we just keep the E in the bull part of the syllabication. So it's grumbled, and we keep that D sound separate, and there's no temptation to add the E sound to it. Here it is again, like in injured, or again, d. The other thing that we do is we hold together double consonants. If you look at the word pretty in that first line, you will see the 2 T's are held together. Typically they're broken in traditional syllabication, but we hold them together because we find that's a little easier for people to figure out. Now, if you go back down to your bottom bar, next to the syllables, you'll see a question mark and an exclamation point. If I tap on that, what that does is darken and enlarge the punctuation, just making it easier for the reader to see it. The next one, where it says achu, if I tap that, is going to underline the accented syllable. And that's just to help the reader know where to put the accent. For instance, in that first line, the word brightened, the accent is going to go on bright and as opposed to bright end or bright end. It tells you where to put it. We found for readers for whom English is not their first language that this is very helpful in helping them know where to put the emphasis. And then finally, you'll see those double E's, and if you tap on that, that reverses out the text or puts it into mirror. And we know that there are a cadre of readers who read better in the mirror. There are not many, but we want to have that available to those readers if they find that easier. So I'm going to take that off for now so it doesn't confuse us. I'm going to take off the accented syllables and the bolded punctuation and the syllabication. Now, to the right of that little oval, you will see some letters grouped together, B, D, P, Q, H, Y, M, W, and U, F, and T. These letters are confusable letters in English. That is, they have meaning only in relationship to your body. A B and a D are the same shape. They just take on the meaning of B and D in relationship to your midline. And for many people, that's confusing and difficult when they're trying to read in a field of text. So what we have done is by grouping the confusable letters together and putting them in our app, if you tap on that, BDPQ, it will put all of those letters into uppercase, making it less confusing, less likely that they will be misread. Just makes it easier. If we put them all on, it looks like that. Typically, in the studies that we've done, the one that's used quite frequently is the BDPQ. Next frequently would be the HY. And I'm going to leave it on the BDPQ for now just to give you that feel. Now, the next icon is that square, the little box with the colors in it. And if I tap on that, you will see coming up below 4 boxes with the letter A in them, and all those do is change the background color. Currently it's on a white background, but if I tap the second one, it'll go to a beige, to a gray, and if I tap the last one, it will reverse it out to a black background. We have found at the highest levels you can imagine consistency among students, but you are in charge. If you don't like it, you can switch back to any one you want. I'm going to leave it on the black background because for this next feature, it shows up really well when you use the black background. If you look to the right of those background boxes, you see long and then the letters A, E, I, O, U, and short, the letters A, E, I, O, U. What we have done is color-coded the long sounds of the vowels and the short vowels sounds of the vowels. Now we know, for instance, that the long sound of A has 7 ways that it can be written. A consonant E, A-I, A-Y, E-Y, E-A, A-E, A-I, E-I-G-H. There are many ways that we can represent that sound in writing, and that can be very confusing for many readers. So by color coding them, we make it possible to help the student actually begin to read a little bit by color if they're having trouble remembering those. So that, for instance, wherever the long sound of A comes up, it will come up in red, even though it may be written differently. So here we have afraid, with the A sound in afraid coming up A-I. If we keep going, we can see it coming up here, A-Y, say. Here's another A-I. Let's see if we can find some different ones for you. There's E-A, here's one. How about E-Y, they? There's another way that the long sound of A can be made. So in all the ways that it can be written, it will come up in red, making it easier for the reader to know what the sounds of the words are. And we have all of the long vowels and all of the short vowels. So I could put on the short sound of E along with the long sound of A. Here's all of the short sounds of E coming up in that nice turquoise color. And you can see these colors really show up well on the black background. They're not quite as clear, although you can see them on the white background, beige, gray, but on the black they just sing out for you. So I'm going to take those off for now. I'll leave a long sound of A for you. And then the last one that we see is this little finger pointing to a book. And that brings up a little oval down below that has the word touch word and a little microphone. Now the touch word, if we turn it on, allows us to point to a word, put our finger on a word on the text, and have it come up in a box above. So here's an example. Can you see that each of these words is coming up above in a box? So as I touch it, as I run my finger across it, it comes up above my finger. That can be very helpful with tracking or just getting your eyes comfortable with moving along the line. And then if we add the microphone to this process, we're going to be able to add the speak out version. So if we have a word that we don't know, we can touch it and immediately it will speak out for us. So I'm going to put on the microphone. Now, if I touch
contented, presence, grumble, other,
touch,
Christmas, proposed,
will be spoken out. And the beauty of this is if you're reading along and you come across a word you don't know, and taking the time to look it up, sound it out, and figure it out is going to interrupt your comprehension. By using the touch word, you can quickly get it spoken to you so that you can go on and keep your comprehension. It's really not designed as a reader, although it will read every word for you. It's not as efficient if you want just a voice-to-text as a voice-to-text reader. Its goal is to make it easier for you to read and to get words that you don't know quickly given to you.